Recap of Fauda, Season 1, Episode 1 in English. Spoilers ahead. Fauda Season 1, Episode 1, Recap. Setup and context. The series opens with Doran Kabilio, a former undercover operative Mistarvam of Israel's Palestinian Affairs Unit, now living a quiet life off duty. However, he is drawn back into action when Mickey Moreno, his old commander colleague, informs him that Abu Ahmed Abu Hamd, a terrorist presumed dead, has resurfaced. Intelligence suggests that Abu Ahmed will attend his brother Bashir's wedding. The operation is urgent. The team must reassemble, infiltrate, gather intelligence, and possibly neutralize Abu Ahmed before he can make more damage. The mission begins and tension builds. Doran returns to the field, reuniting with former teammates. There's friction. Doran is rusty, emotionally distant, and must re-establish trust with the unit. The squad's plan is to infiltrate the wedding site undercover, identify Abu Ahmad's presence, and set up a strike. But the operation is complicated. The setting is crowded, civilian risks are high, and the enemy may be alert to infiltration. During the infiltration, things begin to go off script. Their cover is compromised, they encounter unexpected obstacles, and the mission's stakes escalate. Doran must act quickly in the face of uncertainty. Personal stakes and consequences. As Doran juggles the mission, his personal life looms in the background, his relationships with his wife, family, and the tension between his duty and his domestic life. The episode hints at this balance and the strain he faces internally. A critical moment. During the strike, an innocent person is shot or collateral damage occurs, adding moral weight to the mission and making the team question their actions. This tragic outcome ignites retaliation and sets in motion the cycles of violence that become the backbone of the series. Climax and unresolved endgame. In the episode's climax, Doran confronts Abu Ahmed or his circle in a tense standoff. He believes he has the chance to finish what was started, killing Abu Ahmed, but the target escapes in the chaos. The fallout is immediate. Bashir is killed, Abu Ahmad's brother, possibly in the crossfire or as part of the conflict. The wedding turns into a scene of violence and loss. The team is left reeling. Intelligence is incomplete. Abu Ahmed remains active. His survival unsettles Doran and his unit. The final images set up the continuing cat and mouse game between Doran and Abu Ahmed. Recap of Fauda, Season 1, in English. Spoilers ahead. Fauda Season 1 Episode 2, Recap. Episode title. Having tasted action again, Doran pleads with Moreno to rejoin the squad. Meanwhile, Amal determines to martyr herself to avenge her husband. Main plot points and beats. 1. Doran's return and motivation. After the chaos of Episode 1, Doran Kabilio feels the pull of the field again. He has tasted action, the danger, the urgency, and realizes he's restless in civilian life. He approaches his former commander, Moreno, to plead to be reinstated to the unit. He believes that his experience, drive, and personal vendetta against Abu Ahmed Tawfiq make him indispensable in stopping further violence. 2. Amal's resolve. Amal, the bride-to-be from the wedding in Episode 1 whose family suffered greatly, is emotionally shattered. Her husband was killed, and she resolves to become a martyr, meaning she's determined to take action and possibly sacrifice herself, to avenge her husband's death. This sets up some of her motivations for later episodes. 3. Team dynamics and instability. Doran's request to Moreno to rejoin highlights both trust and tension. Moreno is reluctant. Doran has been out of the field, and there's risk in reactivating him. The rest of the team, or those still active, watch with varying degrees of concern or hope. There are scenes showing Doran trying to adapt back to operational mindset, studying intelligence, interacting with field data, gearing up, showing he still has the skills. 4. Counter movements and threats. On the opposing side, the militant group, led by Abu Ahmed Tawfiq, is not idle. There are signs of retaliation. Amal represents part of that escalation, through grief and rage. The militant side is beginning to respond to the intrusion from the Israeli unit in Episode 1, and is organizing plans of its own. The tension ratchets. Both sides understand that the stakes have risen. 5. Moral and personal costs. Doran's family, personal life continues to loom as an undercurrent. The pull of duty, revenge conflicts with consequences. There are hints of emotional strain, guilt over what happened, concern for collateral damage, what being back in the field will cost him and those around him. Amal's resolve to martyr herself underscores how personal this conflict has become for civilians. 6. Climactic turning moment. By the end of the episode, Doran's re-entry to the squad is more or less approved, or at least moving forward, though not without risk. Amal takes steps toward her plan, whether in speech or action, to show she is serious. The episode ends with emotional tension. The audience is left knowing that more violence is coming, that reprisals are certain, and that the fragile balance between Doran's side and the militant side is tipping toward escalation. Character notes and development. Doran Cabilio, reaffirmed as a driven, morally complex character. He's not just seeking to kill an enemy, he's haunted, guilt-ridden, drawn by a sense of justice and a need to finish what was started. His internal conflict between home life and violence is deepened this episode. Moreno. As Doran's former commander, Moreno's reluctance reveals how dangerous these operations are, and the weight of responsibility for civilian lives, for his team, for mistakes. Amal. Her grief turns into purposeful rage. She is no longer just a victim, she begins to take agency even if that means self-sacrifice. Her arc is set up. Very emotional, very dangerous, very determined. Themes and implications. Revenge versus justice. Amal's urge to martyr herself in vengeance versus Doran's more operational goals set up the moral tension. Return to conflict. Doran's rejoining highlights what happens when someone is pulled out of danger but then re-enters it. The cost is high, blurring lines between civilian suffering, militant action, operatives' duty. Episode 2 deepens the sense that violence comes at a personal and communal cost. Escalation. The status quo has been shaken. Retaliation, moral stakes, personal vendettas, all escalate. Fauda Season 1 Episode 3, 1x03, Recap. Episode title, summary line. Abu Ahmad leans on Walid to organize an immediate retaliatory attack, and Doran and Nurit go undercover to close in on their quarry. Key plot beats and events. 1. Retaliation planning by Abu Ahmad, Tawfiq. After the prior strike and death of Bashir, his brother Abu Ahmad, Tawfiq begins to mobilize and push his network for retaliation. He leans on Walid, his trusted lieutenant cousin, to help organize an assault or response to the Israeli covert operations. The sense is urgency. Let them know that attacking them will not go unanswered. 2. Doran and Nurit Undercover Operation. Meanwhile, Doran and Nurit, the female operative in the unit, go undercover to get closer to Abu Ahmad's circle. Their goal is to identify safe houses, gathering intelligence on who is aiding Tawfiq, and trace the chain of command. This deep infiltration is risky. Being exposed means immediate danger. 3. Escalating tensions and violence. The episode heightens the tension on both sides. For Abu Ahmad's camp, the push for retribution leads to bolder, more dangerous plots. For Doran's team, the pressure is higher. They can't afford mistakes now. As they close in, the risk of collateral damage or betrayal is ever present. This is part of the continuing, cat and mouse, structure of the season. 4. Character and moral weight. Doran's undercover role means he must navigate moral boundaries. He is closer now to people he might have to betray or confront. Nurit's role is also exposed to emotional strain. As a woman in the unit, her infiltration means she must balance visibility and danger. The episode underscores how operatives sacrifice personal peace and identity for the mission. This is more inferred from the broader tone of the show. 5. Cliffhanger, setup for next episode. The episode ends with rising uncertainty. Does Abu Ahmad find out about the infiltration? Will Doran and Nurit's cover hold? Walid's actions ramp up the threat. The next episodes will propel toward direct confrontation. While the exact ending beat is not fully detailed in the sources, this is consistent with how Fauda structures its suspense. Fauda S1E4, Recap. Episode title, Key Points. Doran aims to recruit Shuran to join his side. Abu Ahmad risks danger to see his wife. Moreno sends the team on a bold daytime raid. Key scenes and developments. 1. Recruiting Shuran. Doran recognizes that to penetrate Abu Ahmad's network, he needs better inside help. He looks to Shuran, a woman close to the militants, as someone who can bridge access or intelligence. Doran tries to convince her that aligning with him, the Israeli unit, could save lives or prevent further escalation. The exact persuasion tactics are emotionally charged. 2. Abu Ahmad's personal risk. Abu Ahmad Tawfiq receives information that makes him feel he must see his wife, despite the danger. The emotional pull is strong, pushing him into risky action. This demonstrates how personal stakes press even in militant leadership. 3. Daytime raid by Doran's team. Moreno orders a daytime raid, an operation in the daylight, higher risk, higher exposure, to strike a militant target. This raid is dangerous because of visibility, civilian presence, and less cover. The team must balance speed, stealth, and minimizing casualties. 4. Tension and betrayal threats. As Doran and Shuran's relationship deepens, suspicions arise. Some militant elements, or Abu Ahmad's inner circle, begin to question loyalties. The risk of betrayal is high. If Shuran is double-playing, Doran could be exposed. The raid intensifies those stakes. This is more implied from the drama of the series. 5. Climax and fallout. The raid produces mixed results. Some targets are hit, others slip away. Abu Ahmad's attempt to see his wife may lead to confrontation or near capture. Doran's maneuvering with Shuran sets up future conflict. Her choices will carry deep consequences for both sides. The episode ends with tension unresolved. Who betrayed whom, who is still loyal, and the cost of each action looms heavily. Fauda S1E5. Recap. Episode 5/1x05. A senior Israeli officer tries to smoke Abu Ahmed out of hiding, and Boaz joins the squad on an ambush. Also described, a senior officer tries to smoke Abu Ahmed out of hiding. Ali fights suspicions of duplicity, and Boaz joins the squad on a risky ambush. Key plot beats and developments. 1. Pressure to reveal Abu Ahmed's whereabouts. With Abu Ahmed Tawfiq still in hiding, the Israeli side escalates efforts to flush him out. Intelligence and field ops push to find any lead that can narrow his location or expose his network's safe houses. This becomes a prime mission. The longer he stays hidden, the more danger he represents. 2. Ambush operation and Boaz joins. The team plans a risky ambush. Boaz, Doran's brother-in-law and member of the unit, is integrated into this operation. The ambush is designed to surprise militants or intercept someone linked to Abu Ahmed's infrastructure, hoping to capture or weaken their support. 3. Suspicion, duplicitous motives and internal tension. The sources mention Ali, another character, facing suspicions of duplicity. His loyalties or actions are called into question by some in the unit or intelligence. Whether Ali is secretly collaborating, withholding information, or just misunderstood, his role becomes tense. 4. Smoke out strategy and high stakes. The smoke him out of hiding part refers to tactics like provoking movement, cutting supply communication lines, or using psychological pressure to force Abu Ahmed's network to expose itself. The operation involves high risk. If militants are tipped off or the ambush misfires, it could backfire severely. 5. Cliffhanger tension for next episode. As episode 5 closes, the ambush is underway. The team waits for the trigger moment, with tension high. Whether the plan succeeds, or whether the militants find a way to counter it, is left uncertain. Abu Ahmed remains elusive, and internal doubts, like about Ali's loyalty, add to the fragility of the operation. Fauda S1E6. Recap. Episode title, synopsis. Blamed for the disastrous ambush, Doran takes matters into his own hands and asks the team to join him on a mission to set things right. Major plot beats and developments. 1. Fallout from the ambush, blame and pressure. After the ambush carried out in episode 5, the Israeli side places significant blame on Doran and his squad. The operation didn't go as planned, and the consequences are severe. Doran is under pressure from higher-ups and from within his team to fix or redeem the failure. 2. Doran takes initiative. Rather than wait for orders, Doran resolves to take matters into his own hands. He pushes the team to mount a new mission, one aimed at righting wrongs, recovering lost ground, and restoring credibility. The idea is that some damage must be undone even if it means risk. 3. Asking the team to re-engage. Doran appeals to his teammates to support him in this new mission. Some may hesitate after the ambush, fearing further danger or fallout. But Doran insists that unity and action are essential. They cannot let the militants gain momentum. 4. Moral stakes and personal responsibility. Throughout, Doran is haunted by the mistakes and what happened in the ambush. He bears guilt, responsibility, and the personal weight of lives lost or endangered. His decision to act reflects both professional duty and emotional burden. The episode highlights how field operators carry consequences personally, not just politically. While details are not fully fleshed in the synopsis, this is implied by taking matters into his own hands. Fauda S1E7. Recap. 1x07. Episode summary. While Moreno tries to track down the rogue team, Doran sinks his hooks deeper into Shuran and takes drastic measures to make a prisoner exchange. And from Rotten Tomatoes. While Moreno tries to track down the rogue team, Doran sinks his hooks deeper into Shuran. Metacritic adds that the episode features attempts at a prisoner exchange. With that as framework, here are the major beats and thematic developments in Episode 7. Major plot beats and developments. 1. Moreno searches for the rogue team. The Israeli command structure is on edge. The rogue team, i.e. Doran and those operating somewhat outside official constraints, is under pressure. Mickey Moreno, the commander, intensifies efforts to locate, track, or rein them in. This involves coordinating intelligence, interrogations, and mobilizing assets. 2. Doran deepens involvement with Shuran. Doran's strategy increasingly involves Shuran, a figure inside the Palestinian community who has ties to militant elements. He sinks his hooks into her, building trust, leveraging her relationships, perhaps manipulating or persuading her to assist with locating Abu Ahmad Tawfiq or his network. The relationship is fraught. Shuran is wary, morally conflicted, and aware of danger. 3. Push for a prisoner exchange. Doran undertakes drastic measures to attempt a prisoner exchange. The idea is to trade a captive or leverage for someone held by the adversary, in hopes of getting key information or freeing captured teammates. That exchange is risky. It may involve letting militants gain leverage, exposing operatives, or revealing identities. 4. High stakes and moral risk. The tension in this episode comes from crossing lines. How far will Doran go with Shuran? How much can Moreno control Doran's more extreme tactics? The prisoner exchange gambit places not just the mission, but lives of operatives, civilians, and captives at risk. Betrayal, trust, and deception are front and center. 5. Cliffhanger tension for next episode. By the end of Episode 7, the pieces are more aligned for confrontation. The rogue team is being pressed. Shuran is more deeply implicated. The planned prisoner exchange looms as a pivot point. Will it succeed, or will it backfire? The episode closes with uncertainty. Which side will yield, and what will the cost be? Fauda S1E8. Recap. Synopsis. Key points. In the wake of the prisoner exchange, Doran disappears. Walid confronts Abu Ahmad about his tactics. Moreno's boss threatens to dissolve the team. Major plot beats and developments. 1. Aftermath of the prisoner exchange. Doran vanishes. The episode begins in the tense aftermath of a prisoner exchange that was expected to shift the balance. In that context, Doran disappears. His fate and location become immediate mysteries. His absence creates fear and uncertainty among his team and leadership. 2. Walid's confrontation with Abu Ahmad. Walid, who has been a loyal lieutenant to Abu Ahmad, confronts him regarding the tactics used in recent operations. He questions whether the direction being taken is wise or sustainable, suggesting internal disagreement or moral qualms. This tension signals cracks within Abu Ahmad's inner circle. 3. Pressure on the Israeli team, threat of disbandment. On the Israeli command side, Moreno and his superiors face pressure due to mission failures, political exposure, and operational losses. The boss threatens to dissolve the team if results don't improve or accountability isn't restored. This amplifies the tension. The operatives are under threat not just from militants, but from their own hierarchy. 4. Race against time and identity risk. With Doran missing, the team must scramble to find him, or risk losing more ground. Meanwhile, Abu Ahmad and Walid's internal conflict may change their tactics, making them more unpredictable. The episode plays heavily on uncertainty. Who holds power, who is trustworthy, and who will make the next fatal move? Episode 9, Season 1, Episode 9. Title. Key info. While suspicion grows between Abu Ahmed and his inner circle, Doran poses as a would-be suicide bomber to get perilously close to his target. Recap and major beats. Tensions within Abu Ahmed's Tawfiq's inner circle intensify. Members begin doubting loyalties, second-guessing orders, and suspecting betrayal. To penetrate deeper and draw out information, Doran adopts a high-risk disguise. He poses as a suicide bomber, hoping to infiltrate or get physically near militant strongholds. This maneuver places him in charge of nerve and moral risk. If the impersonation is discovered, he is directly exposed to enemy retaliation. Through this disguise, Doran seeks to locate key figures, safe houses, or the chain of command that supports Abu Ahmed. The episode ends with heightened suspense. Does Doran's ruse succeed, or does it backfire? The inner suspicion among militants likely leads to confrontation or betrayal. Episode 10, Season 1, Episode 10. Title Key Info. Doran gets a surprise visitor while waiting to learn his fate. Abu Ahmed lays out his master plan that could change the region's balance of power. Recap and major beats. Doran, in a precarious position awaiting the outcomes of his risky infiltration, receives a surprise visitor, someone who may shift his standing, provide new intelligence, or challenge his assumptions. Meanwhile, Abu Ahmed reveals more of his long-term strategic vision, his master plan. This plan likely involves future attacks, political shifts, or use of leverage that could alter power in the region militarily, socially, or symbolically. The revelations force both sides to reassess. Doran must decide how to act with what new information he receives, while Abu Ahmed consolidates support or issues orders toward the next phase of his plot. Episode 11, Season 1, Episode 11. Title Key Info. Doran's bosses give him the go-ahead to carry out his plan, but he discovers the toll his family has paid for his obsession with Abu Ahmed. Recap and major beats. The Israeli command ultimately trusts Doran with full approval, or at least authorization, to execute his plan targeting Abu Ahmed. He is no longer just operating unofficially, but carrying institutional backing. However, the costs of his pursuit become painfully clear. He realizes his family, his wife, children, relationships have been damaged, neglected, or harmed because of his single-minded focus. He must now balance the mission's demands with the human consequences. The emotional weight and guilt he carries rise, threatening to destabilize his resolve or moral clarity. This episode likely sets up the final confrontation. With official sanction and personal stakes both high, the stage is set for a climax. Episode 12, Season 1, Episode 12. Title Key Info. While the team scrambles to give Doran backup on his mission into the Lion's Den, Walid makes a decision that could change everything. Recap and major beats. The finale turns into a race. Doran advances into the Lion's Den, i.e. the heart of Abu Ahmed's network or safe stronghold. The team must coordinate to provide support, cover, extraction, or diversion. Meanwhile, Walid, Tawfiq's lieutenant and trusted insider, reaches a critical turning point. He must make a pivotal decision, one that could upend loyalties, betray leaders, or reshape power. The climax likely involves confrontation, double crosses, the fates of major characters Tawfiq, Doran, the militant circle, and the resolution, or partial resolution, of the cat-and-mouse chase. Given how the plot threads culminate, Walid's decision is often interpreted by fans as the moment he kills Abu Ahmed Tawfiq from behind, shifting leadership and altering the balance of power. One popular interpretation, from fan discussion, is that Walid kills Abu Ahmed partly to protect Shuran, his cousin, and because he sees Abu Ahmed's methods as failing or too dangerous.